Hello and welcome to this video on adding and subtracting algebraic fractions. This concept is fairly hard to wrap your head around, and there's a lot of movement going on with these sort of questions. But we'll start off easy and we'll gradually get a little bit more harder. Algebraic means that there are letters involved. So let's start with x over 3 plus 2 over 4. So we have got a single letter here, x. We want to add these two fractions. Unfortunately, it is not as simple as going x plus 2 over 3 plus 4. If it was that simple, I probably wouldn't have to make a video about it. Unfortunately, it is not. It is not that simple. In order to add fractions or subtract fractions, we need the denominator, which is the bottom one here. This is the denominator. We need the denominator of each fraction to be the same number. You can see that we've got 3 in one fraction and 4 in the other fraction. These denominators are not the same, but we need them to be the same. The numerators are on top. The numerators are up here, and we don't mind what they are. They can be whatever they like. However, we need the denominators to be the same. Now, there are multiple ways of finding this. The way that I like to do it is just by multiplying the numbers together. For example, over here, as my denominator, I will write 3 times 4. I'm going to have to do on the other side as well. So we have two fractions again, and I'm going to write 4 times 3. Now, if you can't entirely see what I've done here, I've taken my 4 here and I've moved it over to that side there to be there. And I've taken my 3 here and I've moved it over that side to be here. And I've multiplied them. Now, there is a saying, whatever you do on the bottom has to be done on the top. And that is especially true for fractions. So because I have multiplied a number 4 down here, I need to multiply a number 4 up the top there. And because I have multiplied a number 3 over here, I need to multiply number 3 up the top here. Now, we are going to look over here and see that up the top, my numerator here is an x and my numerator here is a 2. So I'm just going to write those up the top, x there and 2 there. That is our first step. So our first step is rewriting our algebraic fractions. Both of them, we've got our first one here and our second one here. But we have now got our denominators, 3 and 4, we have got them multiplying on each side. So our 3 has come over to this side, our 4, has come over to this side and multiplied here on the bottom and on top. And our 3 has jumped over to this side and is multiplying on the bottom here, and it's multiplying on the top. So let's write this out. I'm going to answer these multiplication questions. 4 times x. 4 times x is 4x. Over 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Plus, up the top of my second fraction, 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. And 4 times 3 is 12. Now, do you remember at the start I said that our denominators have to be the same number? Well, look at this. Our denominators are the same number. Which means that it is as simple as just adding things now. We can just write 4x plus 6 over 12. And that is our answer. 4x plus 6 over 12. So again, our first step was to rearrange the question, the algebraic fractions, moving our denominators over to the other side, multiplying on the top and the bottom. Then we answer the bunch of multiplication questions that we have given ourselves, and then we add them together. 4x plus 6 we can't do anything with, so we just write 4x plus 6. This time I will do x over 4 minus 3 over x. So we're jumping up a little bit. This time we are subtracting instead of adding. So you'll learn how to subtract. And we have got two letters here. We've got an x on the top of our first fraction as the numerator, and we have an x as the denominator for our second fraction. Let me just tell you, the steps remain the same. So I'll write equals, and I will rearrange this, again, moving my 4 over to that side to multiply, and my x over to this side also to multiply. So I will have a bracket, a fraction minus another fraction. On the bottom of my first fraction, I will have 4 times x, all right, because I've moved my x over. And because I've multiplied x down the bottom, I need to multiply x up the top. And then on the bottom of my second fraction, I will also have x times 4, because I've moved my 4 over. And because I've moved my 4 over, I have to multiply it on the top as well. So 4 times. Let's put in our numerators. So we have x on our first bracket and 3 on our second bracket. So that is step 1 done. Step 2 is to answer these multiplication questions we have given ourselves. X times x is x squared. 4 times x is 4x. Subtract. 4 times 3 is 12. And x times 4 is 4x. That is step 2. Done. We have answered those multiplication questions. You may now notice that we have got the same denominator for each one, which means we can now combine them. So my final answer is going to be x squared minus 12 over 4x. We can't do anything with x squared minus 12, so we just leave it as x squared minus 12, and it is over 4x. Let's step it up a little bit more now. For this question, I will go x plus 2 over 3 plus x take 4 over 4. Now for grade 10, which is where these videos are focused towards, this is probably the hardest question that you will be given. X plus 2 over 3 plus x take 4 over 4. The first step I always say is to put brackets around here. We put brackets around here. Sometimes they will have the question with the brackets, sometimes they will not. But I always say to put the brackets there because it will help you for the next step. Always put those brackets there. I'm going to do equals. My first step, once again, is to take this denominator, move it over there with a multiplication, and take this denominator and move it over there. We are multiplying each side. I'll just draw out my fraction. We have a plus and we have another fraction. This fraction on our left is going to be, I'll write it in yellow, is going to be 3 times 4 because we moved our 4 over to the left. Because we're multiplying our 4 on the bottom, we have to multiply our 4 on the top. And on the second bracket, we have got 4 times 3 because we have moved our 3 over to the right. Because we multiplied with 3 on the bottom, we need to multiply with 3 on the top. Let's add in the top. This is why we have the brackets, because when you write this, you need to write it with the brackets. X plus 2 and keep it in brackets. Same on this side. X take 4, keep it in brackets. So that is step 1 done. We have moved our denominators over to the other side, and now we have got multiplication questions to answer for step number 2. These multiplication questions are slightly more difficult though, because we have got a 4 on the outside here that needs to multiply with both terms on the inside of our brackets. We've got a 3 on the outside here that needs to multiply with both terms on the inside of our brackets. Remember, we are multiplying, we are not adding, we are multiplying. 4 times x is equal to 4x. 4 times 2 is equal to 8. This is over 3 times 4, which is 12. There is a plus here, so I'm going to continue that. And then for our next one, 3 times x is equal to 3x. And 3 times negative 4. 3 times negative 4 is equal to negative 12. This is all over 4 times 3, which is positive 12. Please take note that we did 3 times negative 4 to get negative 12. That is step 2 complete. Step 3. Now we have the same denominator. We can actually do something with our addition. For example, we have got 4x here, and we have got 3x here. So we can go 4x plus 3x, and that will give us 7x. 4 plus 3 is 7. So 4x plus 3x is 7x. Our next one, we have 8 here, and we have negative 12 here. So we can add those together. Grab your calculator, 8 plus negative 12. 8 plus negative 12, you will find is negative 4. So we can write negative 4. We go over, and we can put our denominator in. Our denominator is the same, so we just keep one of them. So the answer to this is 7x, take 4 over 12. The only difference with plussing or minusing is what we do on the very last step. The last step of the entire process is where our pluses and our minuses come into action, whether we're adding or subtracting our algebraic fractions. Just as we did here with this negative here. We put our negative down there. I will do one more for those who require it. If you do not require it, that is okay. Go ahead and do some practice questions. But I'll do one more for those who do. For this one, we will go x take 3 over 2 minus x plus 1 over 5. Once again, I always say put in these brackets in the question. Just take the question and put the brackets in. Our first step is to take our denominators and move them over to the other side. Move that one over there and move that one over there. So I will rewrite this as our two fractions with a subtract sign in the middle. On the bottom, we have got 2 times 5 over here. Because we multiplied with 5 down here, we need to multiply with 5 up the top there. And on the other side, we will have 5 times 2. Because we multiply with 2 here, we need to multiply with 2 up the top. This is why our brackets work, because I'm going to write up here x take 3 and x plus 1. We need the brackets because we need to multiply this number 5 with both terms. And this 2 with both terms. The brackets remind you to do that. That is step 1 done. Step 2 is answering these multiplication questions. So on top, we have got 5 times x, which is 5x, and 5 times negative 3, which is negative 15. On the bottom, we have got 2 times 5, which is 10. For our second fraction, on top, 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 1 is 2, positive 2. So I'm going to write plus 2. On the bottom, 5 times 2 is 10. That is step 2 complete. You can see now that we have got the same denominator down here on the for the denominators. They are the same. So we can now move on to step 3 and add our and subtract our numerators. Take note that we have got like terms. We've got 5x and a 2x, and we have a negative 15 and a positive 2. This is how we subtract for these sort of questions. We take our 5x and we subtract it from and we subtract 2x. So 5 take 2 is equal to 3. So 5x minus 2x is 3x. For our next one, we have negative 15 take positive 2. So in your calculator, negative 15 take positive 2. Negative 15 take positive 2 is negative 17. Take 17. All of this is over 10, and that is our answer. Have a go at some questions, see how you go. If you need any more reminding, just rewatch the video and it should help you. The more practice you have, it should help you.